Hi, today we'll be talking about Good Friday. And you will be finding the Good Friday story today in our Sparks Bible on page 476 if you would like to read along. And if you want to pause the video right now and pick up your Sparks Bible and turn to that page, go ahead. And also, while we were reading this story, if you have little ones or even big kids, go ahead and grab a couple sheets of paper, some crayons or markers or paints if you feel like that, because today we're going to listen to the story. And as we're listening, we're going to think about what color sorrow, grief would be. So it's up to your own interpretation of what you'd like that to be. So go ahead and turn to page 476 if you like. And we're going to start out with the day Jesus died, which is also referred to as Good Friday. It was a very sad day when Jesus died. The soldiers who had arrested Jesus teased him for pretending to be a king. They took his clothes and put on a king's purple cloak on him. They made a crown of vines with sharp thorns and put it on Jesus' head. Ouch. The soldiers made Jesus carry a heavy wooden cross. The cross was too heavy for him. Jesus fell and skinned his knees, and the cross tumbled to the ground. A man in the crowd carried the cross the rest of the way. So imagine you either maybe helping Jesus carry the cross, or imagine me and Jesus and you can't carry it, and you have a crown on your head that's full of thorns and that's sharp, and maybe you're bleeding and you can barely carry this heavy burden. The soldiers nailed Jesus' hands and feet to the cross. They raised Jesus' cross up on a hill between two other men. The other men were thieves, and they were being crucified too. One of the men was angry with Jesus. "If you are a powerful king, can't you save yourself? Why don't you save us too?" The man spat at Jesus. But the other thief believed in Jesus. He shouted back, "Don't you know who this is? This is God's son. He hasn't done anything wrong. We are being punished for our mistakes, but Jesus shouldn't be here." The man turned to Jesus and asked, "Will you take me to heaven with you?" Jesus looked at the man and loved him. Jesus told him, "Yes, today we will be in heaven together." Meanwhile, the crowd, as you can see at the bottom, is sad, crying. Maybe they're crying out. Maybe they're asking them to let Jesus off the cross. What would the sounds be like in the crowd? Would it be silence? Would there be an uproar? After a while, the world grew very dark, as if a terrible thunderstorm was coming. It was as if all the creation was crying because Jesus was about to die. Jesus was feeling all alone and prayed to see if God was still there. Of course, God never left Jesus. God was with him the whole time. Jesus looked at the crowd. He was so sad that people didn't believe that he was God's son. He asked God to forgive them for killing him. The soldiers offered him some sour wine, but he didn't want to drink. He was ready to die. Finally, Jesus had fought for long enough. He said, "God, the work you gave me to do here is finished." He breathed a final, long, slow breath, and then he died. And you've got the 3 crosses on the hill, and God promising, of course, that he was with Jesus the whole time, and he's with all of us every day through happiness, sadness, and when we can't see so clearly. What color or what pictures did you choose to represent sadness? Well, I thought, well, maybe some people do red because maybe they're angry that Jesus died. Maybe that's the color. Blue, a lot of times when people are sad or they just cry, maybe that reminds you of a blue, dark. Maybe you chose black. And maybe you had no idea how to feel. Maybe it just feels like everything. You just can't even imagine how that would feel. So it's kind of like a color tornado. But we have to remember, Jesus is with us at all time, and God is with us. Even when we can't see the light, they're helping us see the light. It's always within us. So I hope you enjoyed today's story. Even though it is a sad one, we know what's coming up. And in the church at this time, our service might be more quiet. There may have not been any decorations in the church. It's kind of subdued, so that we remember why we're there. And the greatest gift is God and God's love. So I hope that you have a good Friday. And remember, the great reason that we're here is to show love and to be love.